This week on Charger Bulletin News, 3 new on-campus dining options celebrate their official grand opening. The university welcomes 2 new hires for DEIAB in the Myatt Center. The beginning of Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Month starts strong with the university's annual flag raising ceremony. The Chargers football team took victory against longtime rivals in a 34-7 game, right here on Charger Bulletin News. Hello and welcome back to another semester with the Charger Bulletin News. My name is Elisa Broche.
And I'm Catherine Dennehy. Let's jump right back into it with this week's stories.
The University Department of Population Health and Leadership Assistant Professor and Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Assistant Provost Dr. Alvin Tran will be on a public service leave of absence for the 2023-2024 academic year to begin a new public service opportunity in Washington, D.C. Dr. Tran was one of many who partook in the intensive application process for the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health Fellowship, which is an agency within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and was one of the few who was offered a position. The goal of the ARPAH is to, quote, support the development of high-impact research to drive biomedical and health breakthroughs, deliver transformative, sustainable, and equitable health solutions for everyone, end quote. Within his new role, Dr. Tran will utilize his skills in public health and social and behavioral sciences to assist and lead conversations that work to create new policies that inform on health. Charger Bulletin News would like to wish Dr. Tran good luck on his new endeavors, and we eagerly wait his return.
The Student Committee of Planning and Events, also known as SCOPE, hosted the Suicide Prevention Fair on Wednesday, September 13th. The event emphasized September being National Suicide Prevention Month while shining a spotlight on issues surrounding mental health and how to support family, friends, or community members who may be suffering from a mental health crisis. Knox Garner is a sophomore studying forensic science and a current member of the SCOPE Charger Engagement team. Garner was one of the members that helped put together the event with the hope of further educating the campus community to, quote, ask for help when you need it, end quote. Various campus partners and RSOs attended the event, such as University's Counseling and Psychological Services, Happy U New Haven, and Active Minds, whose missions are to break mental health-related stigmas and to bring awareness to mental health concerns and support within the campus community. More information regarding each of these organizations can be found on Charger Connection.
On September 12th, MTV held their annual VMA Award show and performance at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Charger Bulletin Emily Lavoie has more on this story and more.
American Trinidadian rapper and singer-songwriter Nicki Minaj hosted the 2023 VMAs, and it was one for the history books. The award show recognized fan-favorite artists such as Taylor Swift, who won 9 awards, with some of her most notable ones being Artist and Video of the Year. The show featured special performances by Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, and a special reunion performance by boy band NSYNC. This year's show highlighted a large number of Hispanic and Latinx performers, including Kali, Peso Pluma, and Anita. Later in the night, Anita was awarded the Best Latin Award for her song, Funk Rave, where she emerged victorious over other artists like Bad Bunny, Karol G, and Shakira. Shakira, however, was not left empty-handed at the end of the night. The singer performed a medley that included some of her hit songs, She-Wolf, Hips Don't Lie, and Objections, prior to accepting her VMA Video Vanguard Award. The show concluded with a tribute to 50 years of hip-hop that was headlined by Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Lil Cool J, and Dougie Fresh, before paying homage to Diddy, who was awarded with the VMA Global Icon Award. Another VMA fan favorite was American singer-songwriter and actress Olivia Rodrigo, who has been a prominent name within the music industry since the tremendous success of her debut album, Sour, in May of 2021. After months of teasing fans with her single Vampire, Rodrigo finally released her sophomore album, Guts, on September 8th, featuring songs like Bad Idea, Right?, Get Him Back, and All American Bitch. Following the release of Guts, Rodrigo promptly announced she was going on the Guts World Tour, stopping at major cities all around the world and performing 4 shows at Madison Square Garden. Rodrigo also announced she is setting aside tickets for as low as $20 to take a stand against skyrocketing ticket prices. This is a result of many complaints that have been voiced by fans of hip-hop star Taylor Swift and country singer Zach Bryan for the obsessive amount of ticket scalpers, causing some fans to spend over $1,000 to see these artists in concert. Olivia Rodrigo's Guts World Tour is set to begin on February 23rd in Palm Springs, California, and tickets will go on sale starting September 21st. In other related news, country singer Zach Bryan, who is well known for his hit song Something in the Orange, that peaked at the number 10 spot on the Billboard Top 100, recently made headlines, but not in the way you might think. The star was arrested on September 7th in Oklahoma on the charge of obstruction of investigation just after the announcement of his Quit in Time tour. Bryan spoke out on the incident, saying, quote, "Today I had an incident with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Emotions got the best of me and I was out of line in the things I said. I am truly sorry to the officers," end quote. Bryan was released on an $1,000 bail. That's all today for entertainment.
This past weekend, the Undergraduate Student Government Association and the Muslim Student Association each hosted events in remembrance of the historic 9/11 attacks and in honor of its victims and heroes. Let's head to Valentina Ortiz-Elian, who has more on this story.
USGA organized its annual memorial ceremony for 9/11 on Sunday morning, which marked 22 years since the first two planes struck the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m. and 9:43 a.m. As community members gathered together, USGA President and Junior Forensic Science student Darby Brown took the podium to thank the university community for helping her plan the event, including the Fire Science Club, the American Criminal Justice Association, ROTC, and other members of USGA. Throughout the memorial ceremony on Sunday, faculty and student leaders paid homage to the lives lost and impacted by Islamophobia after 9/11. Allison Perry, a junior fire science student and the president of the Fire Science Club, was among the speakers. She said, quote, "Today we stand here letting the nation know we will not forget, letting the families of the fallen know that we will not forget, letting the fallen know that we will not forget," end quote. Following the memorial ceremony later that week was the Muslim Student Association's Remember the Forgotten Vigil. MSA student leaders and community members also gathered during this event to commemorate the victims and lives lost in the U.S. due to Islamophobia. Throughout the event, multiple speakers encouraged students and faculty to educate themselves regarding Islam and to call out any Islamophobia they may encounter, while also recognizing any internalized prejudice that they might have. Despite the weight of the stories shared throughout the vigil, MSA leaders demonstrated pride in their faith and shared the progress that Muslims have made in America despite constant discrimination. The event ended with MSA President Yusuf Osama thanking everyone for attending and remembering the lives lost on 9/11 and from Islamophobia. Last Friday, the Kathy Zolat Stadium was filled with community members standing ready to witness the flag raising, which marked the start of the Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Month at the university. The University of New Haven's education surrounding cultural and ethnic diversity extends beyond the walls of its intimate classrooms and is all thanks to the multicultural student organizations and campus leadership and staff that create events hosting different cultures. The event kicked off with the Myatt Center's new director, Sam Ortiz, speaking on the impact of hosting events representing Hispanic and Latinx cultures. He said, quote, "Having these spaces where my culture and the cultures of my community are really centered is really important," end quote. Multiple representatives from multicultural RSOs, such as the Latin American Student Association, Hermandad de Sigma Iota Alpha Incorporated, and both the Graduate Student Council and the Undergraduate Student Government Association were in attendance and gave speeches at the flag raising. Among them was Kimberly Martinez, the president of the Latin American Student Association, who said, quote, "Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Month is a time not only for celebrating the success of our people and our pride for our countries, but also for celebrating ourselves," end quote. President of SIA Noelia Dalmorro spoke on the little things that make her proud to be a Latina, saying that listening to salsa music and cleaning on a Saturday morning are small parts that remind her of her Hispanic and Latinx heritage and culture. After the final speech, the flag was raised, marking the start of events for Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Month. For more information on the upcoming events, look back on the emailed agenda from the Myatt Center sent out or check out Charger Connection. Last week's updates continue with the Vice President for Institutional Equity and Diversity, Barbara Lawrence, sending an email to the university community regarding the departure of Assistant Director of LGBTQ+ Resources, Ian Schick. In the email sent out last Wednesday, VP Lawrence spoke on behalf of Schick's integral character at the university, saying, quote, Ian has been an important part of the Myatt Center for the last 2 years, making a significant impact on the lives of our students and across our university community, end quote. Schick will be joining the leadership at the University of Connecticut's Rainbow Center and will be missed by the student population that they closely worked with during the last 2 years. Now let's head to Will Hank for another weekly Charger Sports Report. What's new this week, Will?
Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting installment of the Charger Sports Report. With the new semester beginning comes a fresh batch of updates hot out of the oven. Let's get right into it. With the New Haven men's soccer team facing off against St. Anselm in a conference matchup at home. The first half of play was quiet before St. Anselm put 2 on the board with only 72 minutes into the game. The Chargers did not stay down for long as they tied the game at 2-2. There the game sat as both teams left without a win. New Haven would take home a win in their next game against SCSU. The game was a defensive match that ended in a 1-0 victory for the Chargers. The New Haven women's soccer team also held conference matchups over the last week, starting with American International College on the road. AIC led through the first half before the Chargers pulled ahead to win 2-1. Adelphi would march into West Haven and pull out a 3-0 win against the Chargers. Let's see if they can rebound with a win against Bentley this Saturday. The field hockey team opened their season with a conference matchup on the road against Franklin Pierce. New Haven held a 4-2 lead early in the second half before Franklin Pierce scored 3 goals in 5 minutes and landed on the final score, a 5-4 win for the Ravens. And last but certainly not least, the Charger football started things off with a bang last weekend with a crushing 34-7 win over visiting SCSU. Southern scored the first points in this game, but New Haven took exception to that. Not only did the Chargers shut out their opponents for the remainder of the game, but they put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, all capped up with a Jalen Fisher pick 6. That's it for this week's Charger Sports Report. I'll see you next week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Will. In other campus news, fans of the Hazelnut Cafe might be upset to hear the cafe's official closure on the main campus. Hazelnut has officially relocated from Maxey Hall to Orange Campus after the announcement of the 2 new student dining options. Copetta's Italian Imports and Pizza and Sushi Dough restaurants will now be located within Maxey Hall near the building's right-hand entrance. Copetta's is a long-standing local supporter of the university with many Italian cuisine options that are already well known amongst community members. Sushi Dough offers a variety of Japanese-style foods such as sushi rolls, seaweed salads, and gyoza dumplings. The general manager of the university's dining services, Juan Dominguez, said during a recent interview, quote, "These changes were made based on students' opinions," end quote. A statement proven to be accurate due to the significant success of the restaurant since the official grand opening on September 12th. As of now, the 2 restaurants only accept credit card or electronic benefit transfer as a form of payment. There is currently no word of whether the university-provided dining dollars will be a usable payment method in the future. Additionally, the newly installed 24/7 ramen and coffee shop is now located on the first floor of Bixler Hall, one of the university's first-year residential halls. Students can purchase bowls of hot ramen from the facility's yokai machine or freshly brewed coffees, chai lattes, and hot chocolate from the Starbucks Serenade machine. Dining dollars are once again, and unfortunately, not a usable form of currency at the 24/7 dining facility.
Joining our university community is the new director for the Myatt Center, Sam Ortiz, and the vice president for institutional equity and diversity, Barbara Lawrence. In an email, interim president Shannon Sanger shared the introduction of the new VP of DEIAB, Barbara Lawrence. He said, quote, "Barbara is a passionate student-centered leader who has a distinguished track record of fostering inclusive excellence. Her background as an academic leader, a professor, and a public servant working in law enforcement is exceptional. We are confident in Barbara's ability to build up on good work already taking place on campus and to further enhance the programming and reach out for a DEIB strategic plan," end quote. The Myatt Center's new director, Sam Ortiz, was introduced through another email sent out by Lawrence. In her email to community members, Lawrence said, quote, "An experienced leader in equity and inclusion, Sam joins us from the University of Dayton, where he has served as a director for engagement and belonging," end quote. Both Lawrence and Ortiz will be working closely with the university community to foster an environment that embraces the university's motto of diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging.
In January of this year, a tragic accident occurred in Seattle involving a member of the Seattle Police Department and international student Hanavi Kandula. Kandula was near her university when she was struck and killed by Daniel Otterer, the vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. On Monday, September 11th, body camera footage was released where the officer was heard making remarks pertaining to the worth of Kandula. Comments included calling Kandula a, quote, regular person, end quote, and suggesting that the department should simply, quote, write a check, end quote. For more information on this story, make sure to pick up a copy of the Charger Bulletin newspaper from newsstands around campus.
That's all the time we have for this week.
You can check out the latest Charger Bulletin newspaper on chargerbulletin.com or in newsstands around campus.
Stay up to date by following us on social media at Charger Bulletin.
Check out our link tree for access to the Horseshoe magazine.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Elisa Broche.
And I'm Catherine Denny. See you next week on another episode of Charger Bulletin News.